Felix and Winston and a bunch of crazy cats here. And this market is about to take a turn. I believe we've uncovered how this government is going to ensure and manufacture a tremendous rally while there is a lot of madness going on here. They're literally knocking things over. The mad ones. Winston looks appalled, doesn't he? And it all starts with the job data that just came out. Then understanding of, well, what's within the power of the government? When are we going to get rate cuts and how big they are? And while all of this money is going to pump into the market, and I think it creates probably the sweetest setup for us since like post-COVID. Seriously, that's the way I'm looking at this. I'm very, very, very bullish on a lot of things here, but selectively bullish. I always want to make that clear. And if you really want to understand who's going to benefit from this the most, it's the people who understand precisely which part of the market will benefit at what moment. And those people are normally the guys on Wall Street and my very noisy cats, but also anybody who just understands the basic rules of the market. And if you want to learn those basic rules of the market, come and join me. Literally Saturday, just after your 4th of July holiday, you'll just be ready for some serious financial freedom, not just freedom from the pesky Brits you kicked out. If you want to join me over there at felixprehn.org/seminar, it is entirely free. I can't promise it'll be quiet because there's a lot of cats running around here. But let me walk you through precisely what we got going on here this morning because it's a big one. If you want to understand how to make some serious money this year, then put a 1 in the chat. And I know that this will be useful for you. They're literally about to knock over my lights, the little blighters. So first things first, we just got jobs data out. And this is important because guess what? The unemployment rate fell. More jobs were created than expected. Where is non-farm payroll? And you see that line here, non-farm payroll. Appreciate all the ones there, guys. The non-farm payroll data here, look at that column. And what was the estimate number? Can you see that? Might be a little small on your screen. The estimate number was, so the estimate was 100,000 jobs created. How many did the US economy even create? 147,000. Staggering stuff, right? So more jobs created than we expected, just like we have more kittens making a racket than expected. And, well, if the job market is strong, we're not going to get those rate cuts. That's what you think. That's what most people think. The pre-market, looking all right, looking pretty decent, more green than red here for sure. Not a disaster, not as problematic as all those kittens who clearly need some exercise. I didn't play with them just before. I normally play with them about half an hour before this, and then they're a little bit quieter. And now they're making an absolute song and dance and riot in there to remind me never to do that again. Can you hear that? Can you hear the kittens? If you can hear the kittens, put a K for kitten in the chat. Winston certainly seems a little fed up with them, don't you, Winston? No, actually, he loves them. He likes playing with them. But, okay. All cats and the French Foreign Legion. You can hear the cats. Yeah, me too. It's a total madhouse. I try to do something about it, but usually that makes it worse. Oh, good God, what are we going to do? We're going to talk about delinquency and interest rates, and all we've got is cats. Cats everywhere. Right, I try to fetch one for you, and that way it might be a little bit less noisy because this is getting out of control, isn't it? Look at that, Winston. He's suffering greatly. Give me a sec. I've reunited the mother with her 5 kittens. That might buy us a few minutes. I wouldn't hold my breath too long, though. Okay, let me walk you through this quickly, because this matters. And you might want to take screenshots. You might want to write this down, because this is going to be information dense. Office delinquency rates are at their highest level, basically in 24 years. We're higher than the 2008 global financial crisis. And that just means the office market is toast. And all the banks who are lending, have the mortgages on their books, they're going to be really, 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 really in trouble. Unless, bear this in mind, right? A few more bits of information to cut together. Well, how have we managed to get such a beautiful stock market here in the last few months? Well, it's largely because of what? Well, you're a genius at picking great stocks. No. Good if you think that. I mean, I like a healthy self-confidence, but it's mostly money printing. So they've actually been printing money. The M2 money supply, which is basically money, hit an all-time high. It is higher again than after the COVID crazy money printing. And then we did a little bit of shredding and now we're going back up. This is basically stealth money printing. This is how the market gets sustained. And I believe El Presidente, Trump, has a plan and we're going to like it. And one thing is, they're actually destroying some jobs very, very intentionally. Elon had something to do with that. This little red line here is the continuing jobless claims. So these are people who are actually unemployed, right? And that number is now back up to 2021. And why is that good news? It's not good news for the people who got laid off for obvious reasons. But where are these jobs actually being lost? And I appreciate I'm running you through this quickly because I want to compress all of this information into one thought, okay? So bear all of this in mind. Take screenshots if you want to get back to this. Where are most of the jobs being lost? In Washington, D.C., in Virginia, and in Maryland. I don't know what the acronym is for Maryland. Mary L, right? Why? Government jobs, right? So Doge has actually achieved something. It has sacked quite a lot of government employees. So what's the benefit with that? Well, put that together with the impact of AI, and yeah, that's really starting to destroy jobs. Microsoft is laying off 9,000 people. You're going to see all the big tech companies, all the big software companies, all the companies with lots of developers, they're all going to thank you for the MD. See, I learned something there today. MD for Maryland. All of the companies with loads of developers are laying off people. Why? Because AI makes their best developers more efficient. So they can get rid of the developers who are not the greatest. It's tremendous what we can do with AI now. Absolutely insane. This is another example of AI. This is low-skilled jobs. Amazon facilities, packing boxes, right? If you go back to 2015, one Amazon employee would get about 175 shipments out per year. That's a shipment every other day. Now that is 3,870, which is about, more than 10 shipments a day. So that's tremendous. And the number of employees at facilities at the same time is coming down. So you're going to see that. You're going to see that in warehousing and delivery, anything that's manual, anything that's repetitive, robots are replacing people. Now you know all of that. And you then see, well, there'll be rate cuts. Maybe this is September rate cuts, right? Now, the job data today looks better than expected. So maybe some people will think it's therefore going to go back from September to October. It's entirely possible. Is there a meeting in October or is it in November? These cats, really? Are they hungry? I think they might be hungry. What's an incessant noise? Albert, hey. Where was I? Yes, rate cuts. So maybe they'll come in a little bit later. I tell you what, it does not bloody matter. Why not? Morgan Stanley just said that they expect the Fed is going to give us 7 rate cuts in 2026. 7. That is about as many cats as I have in here, as you can probably tell. Now, if we get 7 rate cuts, even if we only get 1 or 2 this year, what does it mean? Well, it means interest rates will go back down to 1-something%. That was a long explanation to get to this point, right? How are they going to do that? Well, they're going to replace the Fed president. They're going to keep laying off government employees if possible. And they're essentially manufacturing a stock market rally. because lower interest rates, this much lower, will give us probably a 20 to 30% rally. But the rally will not be equal. It will not be fair. It will not be kind. Right? It will apply to certain sectors and to certain stocks within those sectors. So most people, all the ETF crowd out there and everybody else, they're going to miss out on most of it. Just like in 2021, there was very, very few stocks that actually went up. This year so far, it's actually very, very few stocks that are actually going up. And that narrowness of the market creates tremendous opportunities for people who know what to look for, and disappointment for everybody else. So if you want to know what to look for, I will teach you on Saturday, which is after your beautiful holiday in the US. So you should be nice and refreshed and ready for some financial freedom. It is completely free of charge. It'll be about an hour and a half or so. It'll be a blast. felixprehn.org/seminar is where you sign up for that. A noisy cat will be sent to you as soon as you do. I'll bet you. I'm going to have to go and get that guy. He's doing my bloody head in. Right. Have a word. Everyone tell Albert what you make of this noise and this incessant racket that he continues to make. Albert, we talked about this. It's just not ideal at this time of the day to make that kind of racket. Fed check can't be replaced. Yeah, but he's out of office next year anyway. So it's all a question of expectation, you see. If the market expects 7 rate cuts next year, it doesn't matter that it isn't happening right now. What really matters is that we have that expectation, and therefore the market's forward look, and remember that, right? So all we need is that expectation. Morgan Stanley's just put it out there. Wall Street is intertwined with Wall Street, with the White House. Half the guys in the White House come from Wall Street. So all you got to do is create this dynamic where everybody's believing that there are going to be loads of rate cuts, and you're basically Bob's your uncle. It's literally that. So all we got to then do is pick the right stocks. Now, generally speaking, the higher risk stuff, the fintech stocks, they'll benefit. The big, beautiful bill, if it passes, it probably won't pass this week, but when it does eventually pass, will also provide tremendous tax cuts, tax breaks for the biggest stocks out there. This little wrestler, you are a little wrestler, aren't you? So, your Metas, your Microsofts, your Amazons, your Oracles, they're going to benefit tremendously from this. Invest in tuna fishing. Is that what we really need? Tuna isn't actually very good for cats. You see, too many heavy metals. Albert, stop that cat meowing. As you see, Albert just wants to ring the bell. Oh, do you want to ring the bell, Albert? Is that it? Well, you have to wait 15 minutes if you want to do that. Datadog got in the S&P. Yes, is that... We've done some stats on that in the past. Typically, you rally a bit more, but if it's expected, most of the rally happens before, and then there's usually a sell-off event shortly after that. So we're going to have a look at a lot of these stocks that are potentially going to benefit. But ultimately, it isn't a day-by-day thing, right? You just want to know that you know what you're doing, and you want to know that your portfolio, when you look at it, looks absolutely glorious. I moved up 3 or 4 stops this morning just because we had so many stocks that jumped yesterday, like a lot. And I'll tell you and I'll show you what they are. So, the change just disappeared. Hang on, I took a screenshot of it so I could do it properly. Let me show you. Hang on, can you see that? That's probably a bit small anyway. But Rigetti, Qubit, and UUU, for example, they all went up. Where are we? Here, Rigetti, for example, went up 15% yesterday. That's a nice little move there. Qubit went up 10% yesterday, so the risk is back on, and it's dropping again this morning. UUU, Energy Fuels, that's up very nicely yesterday. 8.8%, and there are plenty of others. DK went up 6.5% yesterday. AX went up similarly amount yesterday. Look at that beautiful breakout there. There's another beautiful break. There's so many of these. And You can't see them, can you? All right, there we are. Here is this one. I'll go back through them briefly, okay? Here is UUU, for example. That's a beautiful breakout. DK is a beautiful breakout. I'm going to put that cat in the kitchen. We've had quite enough of this racket now, Albert. This is where you want to go anyway, isn't it? Go on then. Inside, inside, inside. Stay in there. Right. Housekeepers are in the kitchen anyway, so that's where he wants to go. That's where probably the food is at. So yeah, they're just all these glorious opportunities that are just screaming breakout, 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 and make money. But you need to be in them. You need to know how to be in them. You need to know how to be in them before they actually break out, right? Not much fun in chasing something that is really, really, really late. So if you want your portfolio to look nice and beautiful and shiny and green, then I just say one thing to you. Join me on Saturday. Just show you a couple of the ones that you can, maybe you can see this. This is live. Does this focus? Does it focus? It just teases you with green numbers, but you can't actually see it, can you? There we go. There we go. You see that? That's not too bad, is it? So we find those with the same rules on a Sunday every single week. And then we do very, very little other than hold it and move our stop up, right? Free Albert. There is a campaign about to happen. Yeah, he's terribly abused, the poor thing. I always knew he was in shorts. I tend to wear shorts. I like living in countries where you can wear shorts 12 months of the year. Now, can you take a look at Nike? Absolutely. My phone, Teresa? Did I steal your phone? Yeah, Nike looks good, doesn't it? I've been saying that for 4 days. It looks good. And why do we see the big bounce there again yesterday? It's the US-Vietnam trade deal. And what does it do? Well, it does two things. It puts can't see the bloody chart again, can you? I blame the cats. So the trade deal is basically this. Trade deal. This is from Vietnam. So there's a 20% tax on goods from Vietnam. And then there is a 40% tax of goods that are from Vietnam, but are really from China. Because Vietnam, well, transships a lot of Chinese goods and, alters them or something. And so that's basically the deal. So now we know. Now there's certainties. So now Nike can keep making cheap T-shirts or whatever in Vietnam, and they just know it's going to cost them 20% more or 40% more, depending on where it comes from. Feed Albert, make him fat like that. He's actually getting a bit chubby. I think we're going to have to put him on a little bit of a diet. He's getting a bit chubby because there is sort of unlimited kitten food. And he seems to help himself a little bit too much for that. How about EL? Yeah, also looks good because, well, it's funnily enough still one of the most shorted names on Wall Street. But yeah, it's looked good since here, right? That was the day where it started looking good. Volume doubled. 50-day moving average line looked good. We took out the 150-day moving average line. That was the buy point. So whether you bought it or not, it's kind of neither here nor there, but you'd be up about 20%. So that was the high probability kind of safe-ish buy point. Nothing to say, obviously everything comes with risks, but yeah, so it looks good, looks very good. And potentially, I mean, if you zoom out a little bit on this monster, Estee Lauder has had a pretty tough time. And they tell you people never stop buying lipstick. Well, apparently they stopped buying Estee Lauder, still down 75%. So how much do you need to go up by when you're down 75%? If you know the answer, put it in the chat. I'm going to give it away here, aren't I? You see that? Boom, it's over 300%. And what does that mean? You never, ever, ever, ever allow yourself to be 75% down on anything. That's really the key thing here. What time is the NASDAQ shut today? I think it's 1 p.m. I think, Winston, what time is the NASDAQ shut? I think he's already on 4th of July time, isn't he? Yeah, I think it's a half day today, basically. Thanks, John, for confirming that. So, Hood. Let's have a look at that. One of the stocks you'd expect to benefit from falling interest rates, and the party keeps going on, right? I mean, it's down a little pre-market, but it's pretty irrelevant. And look at the volume here the last 3 days. Tremendous institutional buying there. What else? We got Archer. If you have some questions, guys, put them in the chat. Well, it's hanging on the edge of a cliff here on that yellow line. You see that yellow line? That's your 50-day moving average line. And if you want to look at this the way I'm looking at this, by the way, what I'm using is Trade Vision, which is the software down below here, felixprehn.org/Trade Vision. There is a free trial that you can even scan the barcode to get the app and so on. And yeah, it sort of, if we bounce off this, is actually quite good. Like that one here, it's actually positive. But if we don't, then it obviously isn't. What do we think about Google? It's almost cooked. I mean, almost ready, but it also isn't. And to understand that, you need to really understand the rules here. So that's the pattern, right now. What do we want to do? We want to break out above these two recent highs. We do that, big things happen. If we don't, we probably continue to go sideways. So it's that consolidation, and that can go on for ages. So we don't buy it here. We buy it when it breaks out. It hasn't done that yet, so we're not buying it. At least that's my rule. Banks, yeah, banks are looking good. Bank of America, look, that looks like it might be another gap up there, right? Boring banks making us money, absolutely beautiful. And why? Because we saw this little pattern here. That was really all we needed to do. Does Chewy deliver to Hong Kong? I have no idea, to be honest with you. Absolutely no idea. I don't do the pet stuff ordering, but we make all the food. We don't really buy any pet food. What do we buy? We buy cat litter, I suppose, pine cat litter and toys and that sort of thing. But no, I don't actually buy anything really made for pets. It's usually crap, isn't it? So this guy gets homemade food only. He's a bit of a gourmet. He likes actually he likes pretty much everything. Can't pretend that golden retrievers are choosy now, can you? Can you have a look at Bull? Good ticker, isn't it? But yeah, hasn't really done anything, has it? I didn't know that they actually listed. I missed that completely. I don't really care for IPOs, but no, it does. It's a consolidation pattern. I suppose you could talk about that. Last 3 days, volume is increasing, and maybe that is positive. We've broken out of these resistance lines there. Yeah, maybe. I tend to stay away from early IPO companies. They will also usually be 6 months into it, so come around October, a big selling from insiders. Yeah, I mean, the last 3 days look very positive. The volume here looks very good as we're going up. That's definitely optimistic. Dogs love pumpkin. They do, don't they? Especially golden retrievers. They love pretty much everything. Very few foods he doesn't like. What does he not like? Winston, anything you don't like? Papaya he doesn't like, oddly. I usually take some kind of fruit or something on a hike, and I was like, I've got papaya, fresh, the whole thing. And he looked at it, he sniffed it, and he's like, that looks disgusting. He was not happy with me. Pretty much anything else this chap will eat. Do we have a Mara breakout? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fairly obvious from yesterday, isn't it? Fairly obvious. And was that predictable? Well, yeah, you have to look at the sector, obviously, and decide whether you're bullish on that. You have to look at where the highs are, and I guess they were sort of here when you do that line, and then you'd set a buy order, and maybe you want to take into account the 150-day moving average line there and be above that, and then maybe this is the time to buy. But yeah, volume really popped up. Not telling you to buy it, obviously, but yeah, yesterday was a good day for Mara. Do you only trade companies? I trade some ETFs. I very rarely trade a commodity. I'll usually try to find I'll usually try to find a stock for it. So rather than trading gold, I'll trade Groy or something like that, or one of the gold stocks, because it goes up about 10 times faster than gold. So it's a better thing to be in. And gold looks quite good again today. Papaya as grows, really. I love papaya. Good fresh papaya, like straight from a tree, ideally, looks very good. Steamed chicken and rice will help Winston's energy. Appreciate that, my friend. And we did that for about a week, and he is fully recovered. I'm very, very happy to say, and looks very, very happy there. But yeah, so he's back to eating everything. Aeva, second chance. Could be, yeah. Didn't drop high or low here, right? Popping up a little bit there. Volume was a little weak, but not bad. It might well be trading at the very top end of that range there, so the party might continue. Older dogs need help digesting, not golden retrievers. It's probably a question of how much you move, I suppose. This guy moves a lot, which is the key. Rice is full of sugar. Well, yes and no. It's only when your dogs, I think only when their stomach's upset. Having said that, I'm a huge fan of white rice. I eat tons and tons of the stuff. And I think the fact that it's sort of been labeled as carbs are bad, it's bollocks. Look at the Japanese. That's basically all they eat. And they're very slim and very healthy. I think it's a great source of energy. And I think it's nonsense. It's just a very, very healthy food. So I highly recommend lots of white rice. Now, what else we got here? Ford, that was actually weirdly on our buy list. And there we go. Popped, didn't it? Yeah. And I looked at them, it was on the list, and I was like, Ford, really? That crummy old business? And then look at that. Look at that. Why? Hit the rules. That's all it is, right? So I sometimes find myself judging the findings from the rules. And I'm like, oh, I really don't like that stock. I'm going to skip it. And then I always regret it. And I skipped this one. I did. It was on the list. So maybe some of you guys, anybody bought Ford? Because it was on our list. No chicken for Winston. Why the heck no chicken for Winston? He eats a lot of stuff. But he eats mostly raw food. So ginger. Ginger is good. Yes, yes, yes. Brown rice is healthier. Again, I think a little bit of a myth. The wrapper around the brown rice is actually very, very hard to digest. It's sort of an anti-nutrient, if you will. So you probably need to ferment your brown rice to actually make it digestible. Why? Because brown rice has got the hull around it still. And what's that little husk for? It is there to prevent early germination. You know, nobody likes the fast germination. And therefore, if you eat it, well, your body has to do that task of dealing with those sort of anti-nutrients, and it's very hard on the body. And therefore, you probably don't get any of the nutrients. So I think there's a little bit of a myth there, again, against sort of people who hate white rice lobby or something. The market's about to open, chaps. We've got about a minute. Let me see how we haven't got the bell set up. Oh no, good God. Let's do something here. Right, there we are. It is officially the last day before before July 4th. Half a trading day only today, so take advantage of it if you wish. It's going to be a short one. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a sweet one, says Winston here. I saw Ford. I said, I don't care. Let's leave some wealth to others. Janos, well, yeah, my thought was more like, ooh, I really don't like this company. But there we go. This is a nutrition channel. It is a complete mess. We talk about all sorts of stuff, and you can distract me and waylay me very, very easily by getting me to talk about, gold retriever food, for example. Just whatever you do, just don't buy pet food, because that's just the worst thing in the world. Is this reflective of already? Let me see how quickly we update. This is our brand new heat map in Trade Vision, and I am testing to see how quickly that updates from the market open. Amazon is great test, isn't it? Why will it not load? Let's try that again. Let's try it with NVIDIA, for example. Let's see if that works for me today or if I've just broken it. I think I've broken it, haven't I? Good God. What have I done? Yes, I broke trade vision. No, here she is. And NVIDIA is up 0.8%. Let's refresh the heat map here. It should actually update itself. 3.5 hours until market close. That's correct. Okay, now we're live. Brilliant. Okay, so you can see what the actual live market is. Tesla is flat. Amazon, Meta, NVIDIA is looking good. Palantir up another 2% there. Uber is up. Big banks are looking reasonably well. I think your servers are a bit slow today. It could be. Yeah, sometimes it's weird things happen. Also, the weird thing is even we use Google Cloud and even that goes down sometimes. Literally, you just think that can't happen. But weird things happen all the time. So yeah, I see what you mean. It's a bit slow, isn't it? MSTR is loading a little slowly there for me. I have to go back to talking about dog food at this rate. MSTR is up 0.9%. It's basically at the same high it was at yesterday and 2 days before that. So it's good, but it kind of needs to like close a little higher than those 2 days. And then it's going to have to deal with that little bit of resistance up there into the 420s. Do you think SoFi is overbought? It's a big, beautiful, bouncy rally, I would say. It's looking pretty good today, wouldn't you say? 1.1% up again. So it looks like the party may continue there for that. Diversify, use AWS also. Yeah, we might do that when we have 100,000 users or something. At the moment, we have about 10,000 users. So I think one cloud system is probably quite enough. But you can actually do that. Yeah, you can spread it. I mean, I wouldn't say what we do is sort of life-savingly critical. So I'm not sure it's really required, but maybe we look at that down the road. Is it too late to buy Nike or BBAI? Well, the first thing I'd say to you is please, please, please learn how to get in on these at the right time. Right? And I'll teach you that if you join me on Saturday. Link is down below, felixprehn.org/seminar. And then you won't have to ask me that question because you'll be like, brilliant, Felix, I got in this just at the right time. And that's what we aim for. Now, having said that, there are usually second chances to buy things. Now, this one so far has gone up more or less in a straight line, so there hasn't really been the opportunity. And it may or may not come. But generally speaking, that's what I wait for. Now, if it does take out the $10 highs up here and does that with this insane level of volume, then I think we would go much, much higher. And that would probably be another clear buy signal. But that's just my humble opinion. For Nike, yeah, you're a bit late, but in reality, you would have missed, or you would have wanted to miss that gap up because we're still below the 150 here. So you would have probably missed that. Maybe bought it the next day. So you're talking about 7% here. It's not that big a move considering how much the stock's down by. So that might still be a reasonable thing to look at. Watch out for volume increasing. When volume starts falling, it's likely the rally takes a break. That's something to look at. Matt, appreciate that. Buy a server farm for Trade Vision, and much, much easier to lease it. It's just, I mean, I love the whole cloud thing because you don't need to build any infrastructure, no hardware. You just lease whatever you need. You need more power, you just pay for more, right? It's tremendous. Iron is getting excited. Let's have a look. Yeah, well, it's been getting excited again for some time, right? So either you would have bought this down here at sort of $11, or you would have been awaited to take out these highs there, which would have been at 13.50. Yeah, right now it looks a little extended. I mean, volume is tremendous. Maybe it'll go a lot higher. Who knows? There's no real limit, you know. Things can go up 500%, 1,000% in theory. It's just, I like to buy in certain rules. Amazon, that's starting to look pretty good, isn't it? It's starting to look very, very breakouty. If we could just close above last Friday's high, then I think the party will continue. How do you get out of the collector mentality, says Mark? You mean just having loads and loads of stocks? Go through them once every Sunday and just get rid of stuff. Again, we do it with the rules. That's what I do. I got rid of a couple last week. And I tend to do that. And that way we free up capital, because the beautiful thing is when you start scanning the market the way I do with these sort of very simple rules, you'll find so many opportunities on any given Sunday when I do all my looking, that you just want to free up some more cash to buy those great big shiny new opportunities. And so we get out of old stuff, we get into new stuff. You know, it's a good way to do it. Soda, I don't understand your question, my friend. The stop loss is the point I sell at. That's the only thing I said. You looked pretty good yesterday, at least. I had to look at that this morning because it sort of triggered my should I move the stop up thing. I can't remember actually whether I did move that or not, but yeah, looked very good yesterday. Moved up 8.8%, down 1.2% today. That's neither here nor there, but no, this continues to look good. I'm glad we're in on this one. What was the other one? Zim, still nothing happening there. Still nothing happening there, basically. I'm 90% deployed for the first time this year, says Scott. Happens to the best of us, doesn't it? There's just so much opportunity out there, which is just wonderful. DRO, Dropbox. Nah, that doesn't look good. That looks actually terrible. Why? Well, look, we're below the 2 moving average lines, right? We're selling off with some volume here, and we're basically forming lower highs, lower lows. So it is a bad stock. It's a naughty stock. We're not very happy with it, are we, Winston? Winston is not happy with Dropbox, not at all. He says, you know. The constant animal comments make this unwatchable, says Kimuk Strum. Go and bugger off then. You can watch something else. Or maybe Hugh has an opinion about CLSK. I shall have to ask him. He's still the naughtiest cat out there. Have you looked at AMD yet? Not for a little bit, but it has been... Yeah, it's just a bit of consolidation. Nothing particularly to worry about at this point. It's just what happens. It's what happens. Stocks move in fairly predictable patterns. I mean, you know, it went up here, right? It went back down, it went up, it went back down, it went back up, it went down and back up, sideways, a little bit down. It's just what they do. So the question is just, does it actually break the upward trend? And at this point, in my humble opinion, it does not. So I'm not too worried about it at this point. Bugger off. Yeah, it's just like people going, oh, you stop talking about this. Well, go watch something else. It's just not forcing you to tune in. People get offended about all sorts of stuff. I mean, if you don't like four-legged friends, then this is probably not the right channel for you. There are plenty of people who talk about stocks without the incessant reminders and videos and live streams and Winston cams. But if you enjoy that sort of thing, brilliant. You're very welcome. If you don't, go, as I say. Now, my friends, I think we're an interesting crossover of people, pets and stocks. Yes. I just think, honestly, I have a very simple rule. If you come to my house and you meet, say, Winston, if you don't like Winston, this is the last time I'm going to invite you to my house because you are not a very nice human being. Because how can you not love that guy? It's just like, if you don't like golden retrievers, there is something wrong with you, I think. I think if you don't like kittens, I think there is something a bit wrong with you. So I think it's a bit of a test, and they know, and he knows. He goes up to people, he sniffs them. He's normally very excited to meet everybody, but if he's not excited to meet somebody, I'm like, I think I know something about you. So I think they have a very good instinct, don't they? So who does not like Winston? Exactly. Well, we get people complaining occasionally. So dogs rule the home. Yeah, no one doesn't like Winston. I agree with you on that. It'd be terrible. Yes, he makes a lot of the hiring decisions as well on the house. Seriously. I let Winston greet them, and then I can tell instantly. You can tell because somebody comes, walks in, and this guy sort of jumps at them. Either you like dogs or you don't. Yeah, precisely, Brent. I agree with you on that one there. So, right, my friends, I think we're going to leave it at that. I'm going to go and say hi to the kittens for the last time, and then I wish you guys a beautiful 4th of July. Go nuts, go mad, enjoy yourself. But before 1 p.m., make sure your stops are set. And that way you can really enjoy the weekend because you don't need to worry about stuff anymore. And you can really enjoy Monday as well because you wanted to worry about stuff. And if you want to turn the 5th of July into the beginning of the best second half of any year ever, then you know what to do. Join Winston and me at felixfriends.org/seminar. We're going to run a live session for you, a couple of thousand people. It'll be amazing. I will not only teach you how we pick stocks, when we buy, when we sell, I'll also show you what we're buying right now and why. And I love doing those educational seminars. They're tremendous fun, and feedback is just tremendous. So if you haven't joined, do join felixfriends.org/seminar. And I wish you a great day, my friends. All the best.